big scandal thing with Red Bull New York. I don't know if you guys saw that, but it was a pretty big thing in the MLS involving a big racism thing. So in particular, I'm just going to go over what it was. So Dante Vanzeir, I think that's how you pronounce it, Belgian forward, suspended for 6 games and fined by MLS for using racist language during a game against the San Jose Earthquakes. This was last week. Also prohibited from playing in the U.S. Open Cup, exhibition matches, or even the third tier MLS Next Pro League that just so he can't play. He can't play for 6 games, and he will be required to participate in training and education sessions. But they don't know. We don't know how long the fine was. He had stepped away from the team, issued an apology, as well as the manager, as well as the team, which is good. But it doesn't just kind of fall back on this. There's a little more to it. So what essentially happens was he says a slur on the pitch as a player was down injured. Players react accordingly, even his own teammates. Boos from the players. The New York goalkeeper comes to the manager and says, "You have to take him off. Like, take him off right now." Even his own teammate says, "Take him off." And the manager, knowing what happened, doesn't take him off at all. That's the big issue. Doesn't take him off. There's video of it. There's video from like literally 20 feet away of the interaction. Doesn't take him off. Continues to play him throughout the rest of the game. I don't know the result of the game, but doesn't take him off. And all that happens is a written apology afterwards. And we all know that doesn't mean crap these days. That's not even written by them. That's written by their representatives.
Publicists. Yeah.
Publicists, their PR people, whether it's a club or their personal people. So because of that, there's a big outrage amongst the league. I haven't seen a single person defending this manager, going to the point where even the Red Bull supporter group did a walkout at their game against Houston Dynamo, in which they drew 1-1, I believe. They did a walkout. The Viking Army, Empire Supporters Club, and Torcida 96. So 3 different supporter groups chose to walk out. And they made joint statements, and literally the whole section was empty until a bunch of random fans came in and sat there. But they did, and it's just terrible. And they were even chanting "Fire Struber." Gerhard Struber is the manager, if you didn't know. But fire Struber. So what do we think? I mean, what's the course of action here? Do they fire him? Do they keep him? Is this something?
I don't think you should fire him over it. I think maybe talking to him about it. Like, I know that sounds like talking to, like, you know, like, I mean, like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, like, I feel like a suspension. Yeah, I know exactly. That's why it sounds like really childish and shit. But like, I don't know. Like, I feel like a suspension would be really harsh, or a fine maybe. But a fine. But like, what does he learn from that? I don't think he learns anything from that.
See, my thing is,
he doesn't learn anything from a talking.
My thing is, he doesn't even learn anything from a suspension. To me,
like, he shouldn't lose his job over it. If he didn't.
So
do
I am
anything
personally.
Technically.
Well, that's the thing, though, is to me, and I think a lot of people, it's the fact that he didn't do anything says a lot, right? It's the point that he didn't take out the player. If he takes out the player, that's at least some accountability, and he represents the club. He didn't do anything, and that's doing enough for us to say, for me to say at least, he should be fired. I think a suspension is not harsh enough. I think, but anything you give him that's not a sacking isn't enough. Especially, like, you know, at this level, we give him a fine, whatever. It's pocket change to him, I'm sure. You give him a suspension, okay, he comes back in like a couple of days, like nothing happens. You have to fire him. I think, especially at this point, with the outrage from the fans, you know, you have to fire him. He's never going to win them back. It doesn't matter what he does. You don't win them back. So then what's the point of keeping him? You know, then it's just a divided club. You don't want that as the ownership group. You have to sack him. As well as get rid of the player, because he's the one that did the action of saying the racist remark, or using the racial slur. To me, there is no other thing than fire him. As well as, he's not doing good. They have 8 points through 8 games. They're sitting in 12th. It's not like Pep, you know, like Pep, legend of the club, let's
You
makes
can
them
be
like gives them win.
racist.
Like, not saying you can be racist, but I'm sure there's a different level of okay, we'll get over it. As long as we win. Like, no one cares about this guy. Like, just sack him, get him out the way. Who cares? That's a bigger message to me, and I think most supporters of the league would see that and be like, okay, thank you, you did a good job. If they keep him, it's we're never going to support this guy again. You guys are going to lose money. You guys aren't going to get players that want to come in to play for this guy. That's me. There you go.
Yeah. I think the player you could probably get fired. Not fired. Just like, remove him, release him from the club. I think I agree with that. There's racism is just. It's not just something that someone does and you're like, oh my god, I learned from it. I'm so sorry. Like, no, like, bro, you're what, 20 something.
It's instilled in the brain. It's instilled in the brain.
Yeah, it's instilled in the brain.
It is.
If it's something that you're actually like you're naturally saying, and you're saying to insult someone or to hurt someone, like that's not going to change just because he gets a fine and the $10,000 or whatever the hell. The player needs to go. The player needs to be released. Now, as for the owner, that's a little more tricky because, yes, he technically didn't do anything wrong, but at the same time, he didn't say anything.
Yeah.
And there's a saying for that. I don't remember the saying right now, but basically, like, if you don't do anything, that's almost like
you're just as guilty.
You could do. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like when the bullying stuff, like when you see people like videotaping like kids getting bullied, no one's stepping in. It's like that.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I don't want to say this. I don't want to give sympathy. Like, I don't want to make it seem like I'm giving sympathy to the club, because end of the day, this is the club's fault. Like manager's fault, player's fault. It boils down to the club because they play for the club. He's the record signing, the player. And and that would say then their biggest move here is to get rid of him. I mean, it's like that shows you don't stand for it at all.
Yeah,
if you don't stand for it at all, that means you don't have anyone there that has or will promote that the racism part. It doesn't matter how much he costs, whatever. You have to get rid of him, and I completely understand the hesitancy to do that because it sucks. I mean, you shell out this much for the player in the MLS and it doesn't work out, and literally not because of you. You didn't do anything wrong bringing him in, and then it comes out as that. The Earthquakes head coach, Luchi Gonzalez, said he, quote, was adamant to suggest that the player should not be on the field anymore. So it's not like the Red Bull manager didn't think about it. It's not like no one told him during the game. The goalkeeper told him. The other manager told him. I'm sure someone else did too. And he was stubborn enough to keep him in and was so set in keeping him in that it's not like it was a lapse in judgment. Like, people told him.
He cared more about the game and winning it than he cared about what actually happened on the field.
Exactly.
Which is unfortunate because it shouldn't be that way. If your players are telling you, no, I'm not playing with this guy, then you got to take him off. Like, it doesn't matter. You take him off and he's done. He's done for the day. Or he's done until he apologizes and he actually is genuinely sincere, but I don't think he is. But
there's no recovery from this. Like, you can do whatever you want. I do know that he publicly apologized in the press conference on Thursday. The front office met with the supporters groups where the player and the manager was present at for the no voice of concerns, which is
a good step, though. That's a good step.
It's definitely a good step, but what does it mean? Like, it doesn't mean anything. He said it once. Who's stopping him from saying it? The only thing stopping him from saying it again is because there's already pressure on him again, right? If he were given the opportunity, like, just get rid of him. But at the same time, I don't want to say I feel bad. That's just normal for me to say. They're not going to get their money back. Very few teams in the world at the level he probably wants to play at is going to be like, oh yeah, we'll take him. Who cares, right? Like, because of all this. So it's just a lose-lose for everyone. It's unfortunate this all happened. There's no recovery because no matter what you do, there's going to be plenty of fans, including me, who's never going to be like, it's okay, I'm over it. Let's just move on. It's not one of those things, and ignorance and inaction like that
it's a hard thing to take
reason.
back.
It is
because also in today's climate, like an apology like won't do it. You know,
Yeah,
like you actually got to prove it.
Personally,
that takes a long time,
as it should. And there's like ignorance and letting things slide like this is a reason why it's still present.
Yeah,
right. And this, I mean, this is a deeper morality thing. But yeah, I that's all I really have to say.
I mean, if clubs get rid of players for talking shit about them during the off season, I mean, this should be an easy decision. Like, if you think about it, because like there's clubs where like the players get talk shit about the club to fans and shit, and then they get released, and then when they find out about it, and then this should be an easy decision in terms of releasing the player. I don't know about the manager. Manager made a bad call, really bad call, but I don't know what he did behind closed doors. He could have done a lot of stuff behind closed doors that hasn't been reported. So I will give him the benefit of the doubt. I'll give him some leeway. To a little bit.
If there was anything behind closed doors, we would know about it. Because if they did anything, Red Bull as a club would be like, oh, guys, in the locker room, you didn't see. He took accountability, or he did something. He told the player he's never going to play again for him. Things like that. We would know about that. Because that'd be great for PR. So I don't think he did anything. I'm still of the notion that he's going to get sacked. That he should get sacked. In any other job, you say a racist thing, and more often than not, you're gone, right? So what's different? Like this is deeper than soccer, of course. Obviously, this is a humanity thing. He should be gone. If to the viewers, I mean, if you have different comments, if you agree with us, leave it down below. If whatever, we want to know. We want to see what people think, especially if you're a New York Red Bulls fan. I mean, you're at the heart of this. We want to know how you feel, and what you've seen, because you probably know more than us. I don't know what the talk has been, but I'm a firm believer that he should be sacked and the player should be gone. Yeah. Who cares about money spent, money costs, whatever? It's deeper. It's deeper. It's deeper than finances. All right. Well, I think we should call it there. We're already at a good 45 minutes. So
on a dark note, but remember, just be nice to people. On a dark note, the best way to end this episode is be nice to people, treat everyone with respect.
Amen.
Yep. So even if you don't
racism. Exactly. It's a respect thing. It's a respect thing.
Yeah.